had a problem with the police. Let me keep it real with y'all. I just got my license back, right? Like 2 years ago, maybe a year, right before the pandemic in 2020, Virginia changed the law. If you've ever been convicted of a felony and you've had your license taken away as a result of that, because I got in trouble for selling weed, but they take your license. That's just a consequence of getting caught for distribution. If you get convicted of distribution of marijuana, they take your license, even if you weren't selling weed out the car. It's just, whenever you get convicted of crimes, they just take your license, even if the crime wasn't actually committed in a vehicle. So I went without a license for about 12 years. I just got it back, in 2020, and it feels so good. I went 10 years without it, from 2012 to 2020, whatever that is. And every time I went through a roadblock, thank God I got through it, because they thought I was a cop. I had a Ford 500, 2005, and my license plates were state tags. It had the state emblem in the middle, and it had like 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 1, something like that. So they assumed I was a cop. So I can't get mad at the cops, because when I was out there committing crimes, they kind of helped me out. Every time I used to get pulled over, I'd be like, I ain't got no license. They'd be like, look, man, just stay here for a couple of minutes and just wait for me to leave, then you can go. That happened so many times for me. Like, they looked out for me. So one dude said it's because you're light-skinned and they don't like dark-skinned blacks. They like light-skinned people. And I'm like, I don't think that's the case. How come every time, why can't you just accept the fact that those cops are cool? Why does it always have to be a qualifier? Now, as far as conservative versus Democrat, I don't think you have to be a conservative to like cops, and I don't think you have to be a Democrat to hate cops. I think they want to put you in that box, but in reality, I think everybody's at least a little conservative and a little liberal. You got to think about it. Liberals are the heart and soul of our nation. They are the part of our nation that is supposed to be our consciousness. Conservatives, I look at them as being the purse strings of our nation, the wallet of our nation. They're supposed to be mature. They're supposed to be, thinking about long-term issues. They're not supposed to get emotional. And there's a balance. There's a balance there. You've got the liberals, they're very emotional. Then you've got the conservatives, they're not emotional. They're thinking about 20, 30 years from now. They're thinking about the debt. They're thinking about the next couple of generations. They're thinking about how businesses are going to last. They're thinking about longevity. So I think that's a good balance. I think it's good to have liberals and conservatives arguing, because at the end of the argument, once everybody's finished arguing, you're going to have a balanced solution. And I think you can't have one without the other. I don't think you can have a country 100% run by conservatives or 100% run by liberals. I think you have to have a mixture, because I think conservatives, they don't have the emotional intelligence of a liberal, and I don't think liberals have the financial intelligence of a conservative. So I think that both are mutually, I don't think both are mutually exclusive. I think they both benefit each other. And I just hate to see people fight in friendships, in family relationships over politics. First of all, you're not a Democrat or Republican. Those were terms that were created over 300 years ago. The original meanings of those words have been turned and transformed. They don't even mean, if you go back to a dictionary 300 years ago and look up Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, they don't mean what they mean now. So for me, I hate to see it. I hate to see people hate each other over stuff like that. Oh, you're a libtard. Oh, you're a racist conservative. No, we're all Americans. At the end of the day, that libtard and that racist conservative, you two have more in common with each other than you have with an Indian from India, or from a freaking Irishman from Ireland. You two are Americans. You have more in common with anybody else. A conservative and a liberal have more in common with each other than they do with anybody from somewhere else. Why? Because they're both Americans. That's how I see it, man. I'm just not pro-hate. I'm not pro-politics. I'm not a politician. So that's my view on it, man.